You who've taken a peek at my book about my mum and my dad, you'll know that 1986 was not a great year for my dad. Depressed, alcoholic, jazz career, well and truly over. But in my kind of 20-something naivety, I thought that I could, you know, raise his spirits by taking him for a drive back to visit his roots again. And I bundled him into the car and we drove 7 hours up to Scotland, which is where he was born and where he grew up. And we drove to Glasgow and we spent 2 nights with his mother, my grandma, which is my first big mistake. I thought it'd be a great idea, you know, she's such a lovely woman, but of course for my dad, it was taking him straight back to everything he'd walked away from. And he just could not relax at all. And things got worse. So after 2 days, I said, come on, let's just go for a drive. And we jumped back in the car and we went north of Glasgow towards the lakes, towards the lochs, which are very, very beautiful. And it was a lovely day. We went up as far as Holy Loch. And the sun was shining, blue sky was on the valley. We drove up to the lakeside and we pulled into this lay-by, and I opened the doors, opened the windows, and we got out, and I got him out and we stood there looking at this amazing view of the lake. And I said, oh, come on, Dad, surely this, you know, doesn't this fill your soul in some way, you know, brighten your spirits? And as I was saying those words, right in front of us surfaced an enormous black nuclear submarine. I'm not joking. The American nuclear base at Holy Loch was just down the road. And I mean, it was the most unbelievable sight I've ever seen in my life. And of course, for my dad, who was staunch socialist, anti-Thatcher, anti-Greenham Common, CND, the whole thing, you know, it could not have come at a worse time. I mean, you couldn't make it up, you really couldn't. But I mean, at least I got a good song out of it, so. So yeah, that's the story behind Caruso. I've got time for a couple more. I'll play you a brand new one and an old one. This is a song that should have made it onto Hendra, and I was really sure that it would because I wrote it quite early on. But I recorded it 3 times and was unhappy with it 3 times, and it ended up not going on, and normally I just bin those songs. But it's taken on a new life, and Bernard, who I've been playing guitar with a lot this year, who couldn't make it out on these dates, he's very fond of this song, and he kept me at it. And I've really grown to love it again, and it tells the story of a drive I made with my brother late one night in London. We were just fooling around, and then he suddenly said, should we go and see the house where we grew up? And we swung the car around and drove back down through town, out through South London, to the house where we both grew up. And what we saw was really not quite what we expected. And that's what this song's about. Let's take the green road home tonight. Overgrown trees cut out the light. light. Back to our parents' home, always in Echternachrome. First you turn left, then you turn right. When we arrived, there was no roof and no front door. There were no windows on any floor. Back to the bricks and wood, like the rest of this neighborhood. It was our parents' house, no more. What was it that I hoped I'd see? Some revelation or some sign of safety. Places can accumulate so much weight. The beech tree at the front was gone. I was a boy up there in that top room. Some days I couldn't wait to leave, and yet I still believe. Yes, I still believe. As we retraced our steps that night, the city approached and the sky grew bright.